Good Friday afternoon or evening, wherever you may be. Victor, you're here. I am here.
Yeah.
It's a Good Friday that is just only 2 days away till Monday. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Only 2 days.
Yeah. Guess what I was doing yesterday?
Celebrating that it's gonna come Friday.
Sort of. My daughter and her son-in-law moved today, like out of state. They were supposed to do it tonight or tomorrow, but weather's changed. So they left a day early. So now I've been tracking her on the phone all day. So she's sharing her location so we can see how they're making progress.
Oh, I've been doing that with my daughter for the last 5 years.
Yeah, but your daughter isn't. I won't say how old my daughter is, but
yeah, she's kind
your
of.
daughter's not as old as my daughter. Yeah,
yeah, but I'm doing that since she was 8, but probably for different reasons. Exactly.
Different reasons. Yeah.
Was she kidnapped on the way to school?
Exactly. I had never really kept up with that type of feature because,
It didn't exist when your daughter was that old.
Do I have? I don't have it. We did the big yard sale. I was looking. I found her old flip phone, her very first flip phone. So that's going into the pile of other things that I found that I will bring on maybe next week. Are we here next week?
Hey,
yeah.
Actually, that might be a viable replacement for your computer. It cannot be worse, right?
So anyway, hi, how's everybody doing today? My name is Darren, this over here is Victor, and we are the host of a podcast called DevOps Paradox, and on Fridays we do this live stream talking about the news of the week and whatever else may come up. And Miroslav, hey to you. Ingen, good to see you. Cameron, good to see you too. It's one of those weeks.
Is it going to come out? No?
What?
I don't know. You were saying something like...
Okay, here's what I was doing yesterday. I was resurrecting a Windows 7 machine.
Next.
Do you want to know how much memory that machine has?
Are you still talking about the flip phone?
No. I never had a Windows phone. Anyway, let's move on. Because it's going to get sad if we go much further. So this week's podcast, we interviewed Guy from Cherrybomb, or actually BLST, and about their project Cherrybomb, which you had reviewed, I believe, at some point on your channel.
No, I didn't on my channel, but I did out of my channel, yes.
Okay. So we were talking about verifying API specs and other things with Guy, and that was pretty much it. Talking about Open API, and here we go. So,
I love the name. You're the guy.
Yep. Franklin, good to see you. Cameron, oh yeah, you guys are going back and look. I love the back and forth in the chat. I just can't keep up with all the chat. Sorry. So anyway, that's the podcast for this week. Podcast comes out at 6 a.m. Eastern, noon CET every Wednesday. And I've got so many in the queue right now, I've lost track. So just know that. Cherrybomb, though, was interesting. I'm trying to remember the exact thing about Cherrybomb to where it was basically a load testing tool.
It's API validation.
API validation tool.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, I'm mixing that with K6, which we talked to Nicole about. So, and I knew that. As soon as I said it, I was like, no, that's not right. The problem with me is I see Cherrybomb and I think of stuff blowing up.
Yeah, it should be that should be a name for a chaos testing tool.
Yes. I was going to say something else, but I'm holding my mouth on that. Here's something else that I am going to say. Congratulations to Brian and the crew at Doppler. We had Brian on quite a while back, and they got a 20 million round in Series A. This was the secret. This is their secrets as a platform, secrets as a service. That's what it was.
Oh, nice.
So basically, you define all your secrets there, and they hook up to all the different secrets providers, whether it's cloud or you fill in the blank. So they raised, It was pretty interesting that they had 40 tech leaders along with, and these names aren't, you may not know the names, but you know these names: GitHub CEO, Datadog CEO, Postman CEO, Twilio CEO, Okta CEO. These are, whether or not they are huge companies, different conversation, but they're power brokers, if you will.
I mean, they are big companies.
They
all
are.
of them,
They are big.
I mean, relatively speaking.
So,
By the way, when we are talking about money, our friends at ARMOSec also got, I think, 50 million.
really?
Yeah.
Did I miss that?
Yes, you did.
How did I miss that? Here, let me look it up. I thought we had...
They're probably not good at putting their own news on RS.
Is that just
RSS
today?
feed.
Oh, it was
Or
just
yesterday, I
today.
think. Yeah,
Well-
just today or yesterday, yeah.
Okay, and that's the reason why, because... Here, hang on a second. I'm looking at...
It'll come. It'll come.
Okay. These pages are so freaking long.
Go to the next news, I'll
There it
find
is.
the link.
I got it. No, I got it
you
right here.
found it.
Yeah, I got it right now. I'll switch back here. I have to go through like 3 different screens here. So raised 30 million.
Oh,
Whoops.
30. I thought 50. Yeah, 3. Yeah, I mean, that's Series A, I think. And that's a good figure, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally missed this. Did this just come out? Yeah, I guess it did. 27th. No, that's 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely missed it. I may not be subscribed to their feed. That might be the reason why. Cubescape. Oh, these are the Cubescape guys. That's right.
Yeah,
I did
yeah,
see
yeah.
this. I didn't capture it. Yeah, okay, good. Well, here, I'll have to slide that back over there, and we will... No, I don't need to subscribe. Okay. There may be an X there. I can't see the X. Doesn't matter. Okay. Good. So that means 30 there, 20 there, 50 million. Who's buying Taco Bell this weekend?
Hey, give me... Oh, what is it? 2%. I'd be happy.
I can't even do math now. By the way, if you have your drink, I forgot to talk about the drink. Did you have your drink or did you...
You know what comes next.
Jeez. Okay, look, I can only fill so much time because I didn't... You still have your headphones on. How many times does he ever remember to have his drink? I think I can count that on one hand, whereas every time he hasn't, it's been more. I was doing the math the other day. We are coming up on 2 years of live streaming. 2 years. We need to have a party for that once I actually find out the first date that we did that. I can't remember. I think it was in July, but we're close.
We'll have a party when the pandemic completely stops and you start traveling, and then the first next conference.
Oh, so another 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, give or take.
Okay. Got it. Speaking of parties, here's something I didn't think would ever come to the party.
Me neither.
I was shocked. Shocked. Karen, good to see you. I'm still scratching my head on this one.
I'm guessing now, or hoping, that Google realized that CNCF is something that they cannot pass when there is a competition for one of their open source projects. Simply, Linkerd, significant part of the reason for increased popularity of Linkerd comes from it being a member of CNCF. Project in the CNCF Foundation. That as simple as that.
So they're submitting, and now we wait, I guess.
Yep.
I
Now the problem, right? Assuming that Istio and Linkerd, that's the competition, right? Those are the two service meshes, main options in service mesh space. And now, I don't know what's the current status of Linkerd, but Istio will take time until, if ever, Istio catches up to Linkerd in terms of, the stability level or whatever it's called in CNCF. You know, how you go to incubation and then whatever the names are until it's production ready, right?
Sandbox, incubating, But
Graduated.
Graduated, yeah. So I guess congratulations are in order.
Yeah. It's definitely a good and welcome move.
Yes.
The only complaint is kind of like, why so long? That's that's the only thing.
Yeah, maybe there were other things going on. There's always other things going on. So anyway, they've applied. That was this week. Here's one that I also thought I didn't think I would see, I should say. Not as mad. Gitpod and JetBrains joining forces together. One's not buying the other. It's just a partnership. And as they say it, a deep product integration. Here's the thing, though, is I thought JetBrains had just come up with their whole remote thing. Or was that actually the pairing thing, I guess is the better way to say it.
Partnering, yeah. Okay.
So basically, it's one going in this direction. So you can, starting today, professional engineers. What if you're not a professional engineer? You can't use this. Can work in reproducible developer environments provisioned by Gitpod. So basically, that means now the whole JetBrains suite is available through Gitpod. But then Gitpod is the only one natively integrated into JetBrains Gateway. So, two-way.
Nice. Basically, kind of the whole development environment thingy is becoming more and more transparent, basically, until we get to the point that you don't even know that you're running it in remotely in somebody else's machine.
Yep. So there's all the things you can automate. So this is I guess what it looks like. And I let my subscription lapse for JetBrains. I did not renew it.
Okay.
I could renew it.
Becoming a VS Code user, huh?
That's all I've been using because I haven't been writing real code up until last week. And there were a few times last week that I was ready to have IntelliJ back.
Really? What happened?
Oh, nothing horrible. I just had to learn the new way of doing things. So it wasn't bad. It was just, I just had to do it. So anyway, I guess that's what it is here. You can run it remotely. Work with a project on a machine reachable. Connect to a Gitpod workspace. Very interesting. Keep your tools, just automate them.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about this. In August late last year, we shipped a cake to GitHub for their CodeSpaces launch. I wonder if GitHub's going to ship them a cake for this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's good that we have options.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm not using JetBrains, but if I would, this would be a great addition. I mean,
yeah. So look. Okay. So here's
great addition.
So you have to install JetBrains Gateway. Then you have to install the Gitpod plugin. Makes sense. And then update your Gitpod preferences, and then you would select your JetBrains IDE, and then restart the workspace, and boom, new IDE. Yeah. Huh. Very, very interesting. There is a DevX conf. Are you going to this? On May 2nd, 2nd, and 3rd.
One.
A free and virtual conference. Here, let's look at this real quick. We don't have anywhere to be. Virtual. Bring joy back. Who's talking here? Let's see. Do we know any of these people? Temporal, WorkOS.
I mean, by names.
Spotify. Oh, you know some of these? Octeto. Do we know any of these? Well, you know them, I don't, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I know a few.
Some of them, yeah. I'm just seeing it's actually a pretty big list. Wow. By the way, speaking of people that we know, I saw Rosemary was on Brett's show yesterday. Rosemary Wong.
Oh, yeah.
So now that her book is done, we need to have her back on. Ask her what her next book is.
From the royalties.
Yeah, okay. Speaking of not
Sarcasm
rich.
Of.
Yes. Speaking of not rich, so Carpenter launched 09 this week with support for pod affinity and anti-affinity, because you got to do both. What do you think about this? Does it make sense? Does it not make sense?
So the title is feeding into my suspicion that actually Carpenter was never serious about making. That AWS was never serious making Carpenter autoscaler for various platforms, as it claimed. Kind of that was official goal. Kind of like we're starting with EKS, but it's open source. Others will contribute. We're going to have Carpenter running in Google Cloud and Azure and so on and so forth. And then you see the title, kind of like Carpenter EKS team, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, okay. So anyway, I saw that. So there's two pieces of news. I thought this was the only one that made sense, not sense, that made had enough clout to get on the show this week. The second one, though, was a little more interesting. Not really, well, more interesting to me. And you're going to say, why is this interesting? Light Sail number one. Okay, who cares about Light Sail? Most people don't. Not only that, a Light Sail load balancer, even less people probably are using it. But here's the reason why. Automatic HTTPS redirects. Have you ever set up Apache Nginx to take care of those stupid 80 to 443 redirects?
Isn't it always by default?
No.
No, sorry, maybe not in Apache, but general today, kind of like.
Today, maybe.
You set up.
Yeah. But you always have to do it on that, wherever the app is, whatever that app is. Now you've offloaded it to the load balancer. So now you're moving these things off. This is good, but this is also this is problematic. Because a lot of people still believe, and I'm not opposed to it, but a lot of people still believe that the backside of the load balancer to the front side of the app doesn't need to be secure. And that's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea. I mean, it wasn't. So I did not mind that much internal communication not being secured in the past, mostly because to secure it was a lot of work, right? So kind of like, hey, that's not as important as external traffic, and am I willing to invest the work to make it? But now it comes for free. Now there is no excuse not to have all traffic secured. And when I say secured, I mean TLS.
Right. So I thought it was interesting, just to bring it up here in case you're using Lightsail, and there is no additional cost for using these features.
Nice.
Gee, thanks AWS. And they had their price tanked big time. Based on, I didn't pull that article in, but it was not a pleasant overnight with the reporting numbers.
To be honest, I never understood Lightsail, to be fully honest. In terms that AWS is a heavy hitter. It's a cloud service or vendor of choice for kind of serious companies. Kind of like, half of the enterprises we both know that are in cloud are using AWS. It's amazing. It's great. But then if you want something like Lightsail, I'm not sure how many people would go now to AWS for that if it's only Lightsail, right? And within enterprises, I'm not sure either. So kind of, it's as if it's nowhere, too complicated for people who just want something simple. And when I say complicated, I don't mean Lightsail, but using AWS in general. And then big enterprises, I'm not sure that they would redirect their developers to Lightsail.
The whole Lightsail family to me is a DigitalOcean, Linode comparison, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just that part of it. So I could see where some larger companies would want to use Lightsail, not for everything, but for the stuff that could have been offloaded to the DigitalOcean just to keep a single bill. But
maybe, yeah.
I think that's the use case now. Why they did it, I'm still scratching my head. It's fine to have that, but the pricing isn't any better. So I
didn't compare it. Is it? Yeah, I guess it's not DigitalOcean.
It's comparable. Yeah, it's comparable pricing in general. In general, I mean, there's
nice
up and down. And since we're sort of in this same space, Linode, now part of Akamai, if you will, have announced managed databases. MySQL is already in beta, but they're bringing Postgres, Redis, and Mongo along with it. So now, much like what we had with DigitalOcean, now we've got Linode getting to managed services. So I could, in theory, run everything at Linode. Not that I would, but I could.
Yeah. But that's that typical danger, right? Linode and DigitalOcean are similar. They definitely need more services like databases so that people have more reasons to be there beyond VMs. But on the other hand, the more they keep adding, the more they are like AWS. And then kind of the less appeal. It's what I'm trying to say is that it's very hard to find that balance. We are simple precisely because we don't have too many services. But we need services.
And then once you add the services, then it's...
Yeah.
Why not go to AWS at that point?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pricing, though.
Pricing.
It's not about being cheap, just to clarify. It's about knowing before you do something exactly how much it will cost. That's the thing I admire about Linode and DigitalOcean and similar ones.
Right. So let's, because they've already published. So let's do shared CPU here. I don't want to do the calculator. Just to save a little bit of money. So if I wanted to have a single node or a 2-node, I guess this is for, I don't know. I don't understand their noding pricing. But let's say I wanted to have an 8 gig, I'm still paying, that's a lot of money. Even on a shared instance. If I go dedicated, it's even more. But if you're running a database, things cost money.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Linode.
I mean, you need to include the cost of you managing the database. It's not only running.
Correct. Yeah, so if I was to, so let's go back there. So if I'm, I lost it. There it is. No. There we go. So if I'm not having to manage a database and they're going to take care of it all for me, okay, 65 isn't bad, or 15 isn't bad.
Yeah. I mean,
whatever.
It's worth it, right?
Yeah.
And when we got to more expensive, like 1,920 for 128 gigabytes, man, that's a serious size, right?
Yeah.
That's a size that have a dedicated DBA, which costs more than that.
Yeah.
The person itself.
Yeah, because if you were to factor that call it 2,000, that's 24,000 a year for a single, what's that, core? Yeah, or node. Yeah, that's an insane amount of memory. That's not insane, I guess, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, a couple of tools for this week. I saw Hush, which is a shell scripting language. And it works with Bash, ZSH, and Fish. Or excuse me, I said that wrong. These are the common ones. I tried to figure this out. It's got two different paradigms it follows, object-oriented and functional. So I can write my script like this. It can do inheritance. It can do all the normal things you do with object-oriented. But then if I wanted to write it as functionals, I could write it as a functional thing too. Which my head just explodes when I look at this. Because it's just not there. The thing that they don't have here is a good hello world. I have Doug and Doug and Doug. And that's all it is. That's their hello world. It's like, okay, I need a little bit more than that. But
STD print. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a different.
I mean, Hello World needs to have two requirements: to be very, very simple, so that you can do it very, very fast. But on the other hand, to feature to show you the reason why you want to use that something.
Right.
If it doesn't demonstrate, if Hello World is so simple that it doesn't demonstrate why I would bother in the first place, then it's not good.
Right. It has a type system. I don't know. I thought it was interesting just because writing bash scripts are not a pleasant thing most of the time. Once you get beyond, 5 lines? 3 lines?
Yeah.
So if I had to do more, and I don't want to use a quote-unquote programming language, but at the same time, this is a programming language.
Kind of, if you don't want to use, if it's too complicated for Bash, but you don't want to use Python, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's based on Lua. That's what I was trying to find. I knew it looked like something. So it's based on Lua. This is first release was a month ago. So it's still alpha at this point.
Okay.
So that's Hush. Where do the people come up with the names? I don't know.
It's getting harder and harder, eh?
You're running out, yeah. I actually found a really good domain name today. I'm not going to say it out loud because I haven't bought it yet. But I'll probably pick it up after we're done today. I can't say what it's about either. But I was shocked to find it. Dive. This is an older app. In fact, it hasn't been touched. Unlike this one, which was only a month old. This one hasn't been touched in almost a year. But Dive. I think we talked about it at some point. And I couldn't find it in my notes. It's a tool for exploring an image, layer contents, and figuring out ways to shrink the size of your image.
Okay. So anybody interested in that should be actually following announcements in upcoming DockerCon, which I think is in a few days' time.
Okay. But anyway, just in case. Just saying. I received an email today. You received an email today.
Oh.
From a gentleman.
I love it.
Where's my review? Now, I did not have time to show the demo video, and the links for everything are going to be in the description of the video. But basically, what it is this GitHub action will make a phone call to your coworker and ask for a pull request review. You can configure the severity of the speech to be nice, angry, or outrageous. I'm not sure which one.
Outrageous. Straight into outrageous.
Was the demo the outrageous one? I didn't.
I don't know. I don't know. You know, I would need to listen to other two to start distinguishing what is measured, what is counted as nice.
So anyway, it's an integration with Twilio, so you'd have to set up a Twilio account and do those things, and then off it goes. So you give it your Twilio function, and I thought it was funny.
What is missing, and maybe I'm missing it, but what is missing is to actually trigger it, let's say, after a certain period of inactivity in a pull request or something like that.
Instead of immediately.
Or, you know, if it's open for more than 2 hours.
Right.
Call the bastard.
Yeah, there should be especially if you don't have working hours available. It's like, I don't want to message a person at 3 a.m. in the morning their time when it's, noon my time. Right? That would be me waking somebody up in Australia. That would just be stupid.
Yeah. I mean, so we can discuss what is the decent period of an acceptable period of inactivity. But I do believe that either we don't do PRs or PRs are reviewed within a certain period of time. The worst case is neither of the two. You know, kind of, hey, it's open for days, and yet we are forced to open PRs in the first place.
Should we be using PRs? I've been thinking about this.
I'm a huge proponent of PRs. I think that they're great because they're for sharing understanding, knowledge, for helping. There are a lot of benefits for the team working with PRs. As long as the author doesn't have to wait for weeks to get something reviewed, right?
So what's a reasonable time frame? Does that depend?
I would say, I mean, it depends always, right? So if we exclude kind of like edge cases and I need this fast, whatever, maybe a couple of days.
Days?
Top.
That's what I'm saying. 4 to 5 days.
Yeah, kind of that's acceptable, right? I mean, if you need it fast, you can always ping somebody and stuff like that. But a PR that is not picked by anybody is waiting to be reviewed for more than a week should be unacceptable. If you ask me, I would create a GitHub action that would actually automatically merge PR to mainline after a week of inactivity.
Ooh, that's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, kind of like you review it. I mean, say something. Say, okay, it's not good, whatever. Put some comments, something. But what's the point of having PRs if nobody reviews them? And a week of inactivity to me is the same as nobody reviews it, right?
Do you auto merge it or you just auto close it?
No, merge it because, so if I'm if I'm asked to create a PR so that others can benefit or approve it or whatever, then it's responsibility of, then it's basically, if I merge it after a week of others not checking it, then actually if something happens, it's a fault of others, not me.
So you're saying it would be okay for me to put a PR into your repository?
Mm-hmm.
And
if
let's
I
say,
don't do anything in a week, yeah, merge it.
boy, as a project owner, that seems terrifying.
Look,
Right?
no, I don't think it's terrifying at all. So I might not have time to go through it. First of all, I shouldn't, because if I don't make time to review your work, that is very disrespectful to the time you invested. That's number one, right? Second, it is close to impossible that I would not at least write a comment saying, hey, this week is horrible, I cannot do it this week, next. But that's some activity.
I'm going to go with what Sebastian says. We should have a discussion with Dave Farley about PRs. I saw his video about PRs. Did you see it, Victor?
No, but let me guess, no PRs.
No PRs.
I think that they're useful, but only when they exist for a very short period of time.
Well, my struggle with PRs is the desire to push time between commits to 0. Yeah. I mean, like for the show notes that we do for this show every week. On Saturdays, I open up a PR that starts building out everything for the show. And then the next Saturday, I merge it all in and then create the next one. Is that a good or bad use of a PR?
Bad.
Really?
I mean,
I'm able to use a preview environment. The reason why we're able to do,
yes.
right?
Okay, for example, then now you're coming to good reasons for a PR. Exactly. So there must be a reason, right? Not only for the sake of creating PR. And there can be many reasons. It could be review, sharing knowledge, creating preview environments, right? Let's say preview environments. That's a good use case. How would you do that if you would go directly to the mainline, like a la Dave Farley, right?
I don't know that if I was going straight to main, we would have to have a way to where you could look ahead at the site in time. In other words, the site would have to be smart.
With the scripting, everything can be done.
It can be done.
The point is that you would be just wasting time to do something that is so much easier in a different way, right?
With a preview environment in this case.
Exactly.
Yeah. Since our site is completely static, it would be insane to actually write code just so we could stay on the main line.
Because I should have asked, I'm not sure about your flow, right? But I'm guessing that you create a pull request before the actual thing happened, right? And then you just merge it. Then you can preview it, you can see what's happening, and then you merge it when the time comes, right?
Correct.
You're all ready in a way.
Right. So what happens is when I set up the notes for the next week, I create a new branch, I set up a page, push it to the new branch, and then create a PR. We use Netlify for hosting the website, and I have it set up to where on any branches we get a preview environment. Excuse me, on any PRs we get a preview environment. And that stays live until we merge that PR into main. And really it's a detail, but Netlify doesn't kill off their preview environments. I don't know why. And then move on and get a new one. That's the flow. So you're saying that's okay?
Yeah, I mean, if there is a reason for a PR, and that's a good reason, yeah.
Okay.
The
Miroslav,
same way as Miroslav just brought a reason why we shouldn't be using PRs, and I agree with that completely as well.
Yeah.
Because think about it, if you and me are doing pair programming, why would we actually submit a PR? For reviewing? No, we are reviewing two of us while programming, right? You're typing code, I'm reviewing your code, I'm writing tests, you're reviewing my tests, and so on and so forth, right? So the part of the process that is happening when working asynchronously through PRs is happening at real time in pair programming. And with pair programming, yeah, no need for PRs. Excluding the technical reasons like preview environments, for example, but ignoring that for now, yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the last bit of today with, how do you say their name? I can't even remember. Klotho?
I'm calling it Klotho.
Okay.
I invented how it's pronounced. I have no idea.
I watched this and I sort of scratched my head. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I was just trying to get my head around it, and it just didn't make a whole lot of sense.
So the idea, I think, is great. Now, it's still a young project. Whether we'll get from idea to serious implementation is a different question. But the idea that within your code, you write some comments that specify the capabilities that your application needs, you know, kind of, oh, this is a web server, right? Or this needs database as a comment. And then have a system behind that will compile your application to add whatever extra code you would write for the destination service, like Lambda, right? You need to write something around your code. And also to create infrastructure and to choose the infrastructure based on what you need. That's potentially great, right? And later on, I think that there will be additional option for ops in your company to create some sort of rules, so that, hey, within our company, if what you say that are the needs of your application are X, Y, Z, then actually that should end up running here and there. So it's adding some kind of intelligence that, you know, you say, I have a web app. I don't care where it's running. You figure out based on this, and that where it should go. It's a good idea.
Okay. And I think we're going to have them on the podcast in a few weeks. I think that's or we're recording with them. I don't remember when it will come out. Sometime in June, I think.
Next Thursday, they will be in live AMA session.
Oh, they're coming Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So I'll watch this again and see if I can get a clue by then.
I mean, I'm not sure whether you'll get a clue. Okay, if you watch it, no, not the.
Or watch it again.
Yes.
Yeah, just sort of try to remember what's going on. It was a pretty quiet week. I mean, $50 million went really fast.
Yeah. It's only 2 weeks until
KubeCon.
the Kate thing, yeah?
No, 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
I mean, 2 weeks, third week from now is KubeCon.
Is right. While we're here, you're physically going to be there, right?
I will be physically there, yes.
We're not doing any shows that week live?
I don't know when I'm coming back. I think I'm coming back on Thursday or Friday, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I need to check. It's in the calendar.
Well, Friday could be interesting. We could get your debrief on Friday about what's going on. So
no, I'm actually staying until Saturday. So
okay, so no show that week.
most
No shows that
likely
week.
no.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll do it.
If you do it, it would be kind of a decision last moment because you
Yeah.
never know in those cases
Hotel.
things in advance.
What's going on? Yeah. So it could happen, but 2080 that would happen. 3070. It's a mystery. Life is a mystery. Just like if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, that's a mystery. Why would you subscribe to this channel?
Why wouldn't you? I mean,
Why wouldn't you subscribe to it? Well, would that be a mystery?
yeah.
I'm just tired. That's all I'm going to say. Windows 7, I'd forgotten how bad Windows 7 was. But not as bad as Windows Vista. I'll just put it that way.
Wait, I'm not getting confused. Is 7 something before or after 95?
That was after 95.
After, okay.
It was 95, 98, Vista, XP, 7, 10.
They have a serious problem with naming, right?
Well, everybody does. I think Ubuntu is
Yeah,
the
but
only
kind
one
of
that
like-
makes any sense. From a
You know, what goes after 7? 10?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, you don't need to be a
Yeah.
rocket scientist to figure out that the one after 7 should be 8 and not 10. Unless 10 is the reference to year 2000 or whatever.
Which is what Ubuntu does, right?
Yeah.
Ubuntu does 22. Like the latest one was 22.04.
Exactly. 2204, and then you have a code name, and you can call it Unicorn for all I care.
Doesn't
But it
matter.
doesn't matter.
See, that's and Apple does the flip of that. It's all about the name, and it's like, which number is this? I need to know the numbers.
Yeah, but at least numbers are consecutive.
Oh, yeah. Miroslav, you're right. There was a Windows 8. And Windows 8 to me I think was the same as Vista on the am I going to run this or not level. I was actually looking at shopping around and buying, I can't believe I'm going to say this, buying a Windows PC.
When now?
No, not now, but buying one.
Like
Just
a long time ago.
no. I mean, now meaning not this moment, but
Ah,
in the
yeah,
next few
exactly.
months, because I need something to where I can run Windows 10.
Azure?
Well, I'm already running Windows 10 on AWS. I have an AWS Workspace.
AWS, there you go.
But I need something in-house, literally in the house.
And what for? Some testing something.
Yeah.
Hey, isn't it now? Isn't Windows having WSL, so you don't have to actually test anything on Windows? And you can blame problems on Microsoft?
I guess I could.
Isn't that the goal?
Yeah. And then I just looked at, so I was looking at my son-in-law's MacBook Air last night. He has one of the M1s. He used to have a Mac Mini 16 gig. And he's a musician, so he uses Logic all the time.
Okay.
And he had a 16 gig Mac Mini, got rid of it, and got an 8 gig MacBook Air. He says he can't tell any difference between the two running.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not using memory, yeah.
Well, Logic is. The way he did those crazy stacks of 1,000 tracks and other things until it actually started having problems. I've got to get an M1 at some point.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wait, I saw that this week. What was it? Graal. For anybody that's in the Java world, which I still am, the Graal VM that came out this week, 22.1.0, now is native on M1. If I only had an M1 device to actually test it out.
And now you need to get it so that you can test it out. You're thinking it in the wrong way. So it's
Yeah.
not if you had M1 to test it, you have to M1 so that you can test it.
Right. Yes. It's just been one of those weeks. Been one of those weeks. Also learned some stuff about JReleaser. I actually virtually went to a meetup out of New York Java user group with the developer of JReleaser, which is based on Go Releaser. And what was the other thing he said? I can't remember what the other thing he said that they thought about, or what he based it off of. JReleaser is pretty cool. I was going to say another word, but I've censored myself. So that's what I'm learning right now to get something out the door.
Nice.
I'm liking writing CLIs. That's all I'm going to say. I'm really liking writing CLIs.
CLIs are cool.
CLIs are...
They're the future. Terminal is the future. That's the next big thing.
Terminal is the future. I need to go get a VT100, like a green screen CRT VT100. You know what a VT100 is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Wasn't sure if many of our people would understand what a VT100 is.
Only those older than 40.
Terminal. I still have a card reader. It's packed away, but I have a card reader. Just can't unpack it yet. Okay. I think we've rambled enough, being sad that I still don't have an M1. What's going to happen when I do get the M1? What am I going to do?
You're going to stop suffering.
Well, I don't know about that.
Part of the suffering.
Part of the suffering will go away.
Fraction of the suffering is going to disappear.
Yeah, okay. So I will say on my 4 gig MacBook Air that I have from 2011, for me to start Chrome takes about 35 seconds.
No, it's simply M1, M chips are so amazing that you and me discussed the other day, I think not in public, kind of, I'm tempted to replace my beast, and I have a beast, like 64 gigabytes of RAM, unknown amount of CPU, for a much worse in specs M1, just for the sake of M1. I'm not going to do that because it would be ridiculous financially, but it's huge leap.
Yeah, we were talking. I will say that what we were talking about is, you have what, 32 or 64 gig of RAM?
64 gigs of
You have
RAM,
64 gig, and you're unwilling to go to a 16 gig M1.
No, I'm willing, not unwilling. I'm thinking about getting Mac Studio.
Oh, it's Studio, right? But you want the 64 gig of RAM one?
No. I would go for
A base of whichever one.
whatever is the base. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Which I think for the Ultra it's 64.
No, for the cheaper of the two, whichever.
Oh, that's the Max, which is
Max.
I think $2,000 or something.
If I would have money to spare, kind of like, and wouldn't care, I would today replace my 64 gigs Intel with whatever the amount of CPU with 16 gigs.
But then you have to get a monitor, though. Do you have a monitor today?
I have iMac. I'm hoping that I can connect my iMac and use it as a monitor only.
Nope.
No?
Mm-mm.
You see? But there is no financial reason why I would do that. So it's a good machine I have there. Here. But I get every once in a while. So here's my annoyance.
Okay.
Now I'm great. I take off my headphones and I'm in living hell over here from noise.
Oh, from all the noise? Yeah. That's when I cranked up that Windows 7 machine in my office yesterday. It's like, how did I even live in here with this thing on?
So when I record, then I take off my headphones. Otherwise, I almost sleep with them. And then I spend 15 minutes trying to figure out what are all the things that I need to shut down to calm
Get rid of the
down.
noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't we call it a day? Give everybody back. This is always the funny thing about meetings. Hey, I'll give you back the next 30 minutes.
No, you took 50. You just took less. It's not that you're giving back.
Yeah. Tell your boss that the next time they say that. See how that goes.
I will.
I know you will. I could probably get away with it too. I don't know. Anyway, So we'll be back next Friday. Monday will be Victor's. Okay, wait. We've got more things. Monday will be Victor's next video, which I don't know what it is. Wednesday's podcast. Thursday is over on the DevOps Toolkit channel. We'll have these guys back, or be on.
Yeah.
Right? And then
Friday. It's the
It's
first week of the month, so there is a internal chat for all the members
right.
of the channel.
of the DevOps Toolkit channel.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then this.
On Friday afternoon.
5.
Evening. Yeah, 5 things next week. Up to 5. 4.5. Put a range in there. Okay. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us live. If you are with us here live, go and give us a thumbs up before you leave. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you're watching the replay, thanks for hanging out till the end. Yes, it's pretty much always this loose when we're talking because we're not very structured when it comes to these things. But we have fun. Hopefully you have fun too. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we will talk to you again next week.